Okay, I promise I'm ready. I'm ready. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm ready.
Hey y'all, hey. Welcome,
Oh,
welcome to another fantabulous episode of Real Women, Real Talk. As you can see, we're having fun already, so this is going to be a great episode because our energy is high and we are in good spirits, and it's going to be great. So, if this is your first time tuning in, I am the amazing Shavon Carter, one of the facilitators for Real Women, and I am joined by
my name is Trenace Richardson. It is a pleasure to be here and with you all. I am the founder of Real Women Rock, and we are here.
we are here for episode 27. We are
Hey,
moving right along, and these episodes are getting gooder and gooder. I know that's not a word, but that's what I wanted to say.
gooder and gooder. I like it.
Gooder and gooder. So, y'all, listen, it's been a while since we recorded, but y'all don't know because we post these every week. But we're just happy to be here. And it's going to be such a great conversation today. So before I get into what we're going to talk about, we are Real Women Rock, and we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that exists to create safe spaces for women to do personal development work on themselves. And this podcast is an extension of the work that we do in sister circles every month. And we have a lot of sister circles that you can go to both virtually and in person so that you can get the experience of taking off the mask and really getting in tune with who you are as a person. So we just wanted this podcast to be a sneak peek into what you can get if you were to attend one of our sister circles. So for more information about who we are and what we do, visit www.realwomenrock.org. For more information, we have sister circles every month happening in so many different locations and virtually, like I said. So you can join us if you're not in the area that we're in, the DC metro area, and Richmond or Hampton Roads area. You can still find out about us through our
Mhm.
virtual.
And we have a virtual circle. Yep.
Exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
So just go to our website, find out more about us. So let's jump into our first segment, sister. Real talk. How you been? How you doing?
Girl, it's been a long time. I love that we are so consistent with these that
Mhm.
you all don't get to know. But we did take a break. I think during that time, I'll be honest, I have because of work has been a lot for me. So it's kind of been a yin and a yang. I've been doing good, but I'm tired.
Mhm. Mhm.
Work has been a lot, and I'm looking forward to vacation.
Mm.
I've been living vicariously through you with some of these vacations you've been on. So I think I'm just there where it's time. At certain points you rev and rev and you're ready to roll. And I've been on, a high and really revved up since the intensive, and then, just a little bit of a new Christmas and New Year's break, but
Mhm.
coming back just really ready to get things going. And I'm ready for a break now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
It really helps when you just take that woosah moment to be like, okay, let me just take a
Mhm.
minute, to enjoy myself on vacation. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to it. It's
Yeah,
coming.
I
Mhm.
love that.
Mhm.
So
How are
speaking of,
you?
yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of vacation, that's what I've been doing. On top of on top of working in school, I've been outside. So since we last recorded, I've been to Bahamas. I've been on a cruise to
Mhm.
the Bahamas to celebrate my sister's birthday and her upcoming nuptials to her
Mm.
fiance. They're getting married in May, so we just had like a bridal party slash friends slash birthday party for her. So it was fun.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah. And then I recently celebrated my 46th birthday. Woo!
And did. Happy birthday.
Thank you. So I am 46 now, and I decided that I was going to do something special for my birthday.
Mhm,
And I went to Aruba.
mhm.
And what's so interesting about that is I've never taken a birthday trip that I can remember.
Mm,
I won't say I've never been away on a birthday trip on my birthday. Let me say that.
okay,
So
okay.
the last time I took a devoted birthday trip was back in 2017 when I went to the
Mhm,
Cayman Islands.
okay.
But it was before my birthday. And I just noticed how, I went for my sister's birthday a couple of years ago. I went from one of my girlfriend's birthday, and I'm always celebrating my friends and their birthdays, but I don't usually plan something major for my birthday. So
Yep.
one of my friends pointed that out to me, and he was like, you always do something for other people's birthday. Why don't you do something for your birthday? And I was like,
Mhm.
that's what I'm gonna do. You absolutely correct.
That's a
So
very good idea.
yeah, yeah. So I did that, and it was amazing just to be there for a week and to have a good time, to be in the sun, and to live carefree. It was just great. Aruba is just such a beautiful island. It's a happy island, and so it's one of my favorite places to be. And I want to have land, or not land, but property there, so that I can vacation there on a regular basis. So yeah, I had a good birthday.
I'm looking forward to Aruba. I have not been there, but I have heard enough about it from y'all where I am making my way there this year. And I
Yeah.
do. I don't know if it'll be exactly on my birthday, but I am
Mhm.
looking to travel a lot this summer. So,
Yeah, I love
yay.
that. Yes, that is beautiful.
It is. I'm so happy for you. That's the way to bring in a birthday now.
Yeah, I think I've set the tone for myself. Like, I gotta be somewhere for my birthday now. I can't be just sitting at home or doing stuff around where I live. I want to go outside. So
I love it. Go
yeah,
outside.
yeah.
Mhm.
All right, sister. So thank you for that catch up, so that we can see where we are, how things have been going since we
Mhm.
last recorded. And I have this little thing that I want to talk about in the real talk segment too, because I often think about this when I'm at work
Mhm.
and I'm walking down a hallway, and usually we have a long hallway on the floor that I work on. And let's say I'm at one end and somebody is at the other end, and they're coming in my direction, and
Mhm.
we have to pass each other at some point, but it
Mhm.
just takes us a minute to get there. And it's
Mhm.
always so awkward for me because I'm like, what do you look at when the person is coming towards you? Eventually, you're gonna say hi, but it's like it just feels so awkward. So I just wanted to ask you, have you ever experienced that, and what do you do in that little
Yeah.
moment?
It's not just in the hallway, it's like coming down the street and maybe you're the only person and they're the only person and you pass
Yeah,
it. Like there's so many opportunities for that to happen. And I'm trying to imagine myself doing it. And I
yeah,
know I look down. I don't look up, I look down.
okay,
And I 9 times out of 10, I'm probably gonna pick up my phone and look at my phone.
okay.
Um, but if not, I'm gonna look at the ground until I feel like that's so crazy. I hadn't thought of that until we're close enough where a look up and acknowledgement and maybe a
Uh,
hello is
yeah,
relevant. Oh my goodness. I look, I look down. I do. I look down.
okay,
What do you look? I don't I hadn't thought
So
about
I
this.
look away. I absolutely don't look at the person until I get to them, because I feel like that would be super weird. So I just look away and just look around at everything else that I can focus on until they get close. But
Yeah.
it just feels so awkward. I thought it was so
But
funny.
also, I think it matters how well I know the person, because
Okay.
if I know them and
Mhm.
I see them coming, I'm like, like we are not in proximity yet, but I know
Uh-huh.
that it's you. So I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, and
Yeah.
we maybe speed up a little bit to get to say hello. But if I
Uh-huh.
don't know you, I'm not looking your way until I gotta be cordial and pass. And some people, I have noticed, some people do not do the customary hello. Just you were
Oh,
just in my presence. Like we just were
hey.
shoulder to shoulder. You could just say hi,
Oh, that's
hello.
rude.
Oh
You
yeah,
shared the same walkway like all this time. You're not gonna even say nothing. That's funny.
exactly. We shared the same space. What's wrong with you? So
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. So funny. So
I
yeah, I
make
just
people
wanted
say
to
hello
share.
sometimes though.
You
So
do?
this is such random real talk. I love this. Because I'm noticing some stuff about myself because you've asked me this, but
Uh-huh.
sometimes I make sure hello, how are you? But it's because you're not gonna speak, you're not gonna look
Yeah.
up. Like it's time to
Uh-huh.
look up. This is the time to look up. I'm close enough to you now where you need
Right.
to be looking up. Yeah, girl. That's
That's
funny.
so funny. Cause I so if that happens to me and somebody doesn't speak and I'll just be like, oh, okay. Cause I usually my voice is so I notice that my voice is low. Like if I'm in
Mhm,
that and I don't know then I'm speaking, I'm just like, hello. And then I just
mhm.
keep going. So I don't, yeah, I wouldn't
Girl,
be like, hey, how
I'm
you doing? Hello.
I'm loud when I'm mad, and I'm
Yeah.
loud when I'm glad. I'm loud when I'm
Mhm.
happy. I'm loud when I'm sad. So, so they gonna get a good hello from me now.
They gonna
They're gonna
get it.
get
You
a
gonna hear
good
this.
country hello. Now, if you don't give
Yeah.
it back, I'm gonna say it again. We're gonna say it
Right.
again.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. I love it. I
Oh,
love
that
it.
is funny.
Oh man. Well, thank you for that. And we want to hear from you. We want to know what you do when you are walking, approaching someone, whether it be on the sidewalk or in the hallway, and how you handle those situations and where do you look and do you speak when you get closer to the person. So reach
Mhm.
out to us on speakpipe.com /real women real talk. And you can leave us a message. It's a brief time limit on it. However, you can click off and click back on and leave us, continue your conversation with how you would handle this situation. We would love to hear from you so that you can join into this conversation.
That's fun. Mhm.
All right, sister, are you ready for our deep dive conversation?
It's been a minute. I guess so. Yes, let's do it.
We're going to take a plunge into this topic, which we recently had a sister circle related to this. Our young adult real women, we had a sister circle which was virtually not too
Mhm.
long ago. And we talked about this topic, which
Mhm.
is relationships be hard. And that's exactly what it was. I know what you're thinking if you are an English major or teacher, but we said what we said. Relationships be hard.
And
That's
do.
what yes. And it was such a great discussion during that virtual circle because we had all ages. We had young adults, we had college students, we had married women, single women, and divorced women. So it was a variety of different experiences on the call, which I thought was beautiful because you can get different perspectives.
Mhm.
And there was just so many takeaways from that conversation. So before we get into a little more of what I want to talk about, sister, I just want to hear from you as far as what your thoughts were about that circle and the topic in and of itself. Relationships be hard.
Mhm. Yeah, so I had the pleasure of moderating, and we had a couple of our young adults, but more so, it was the women who just shared so openly. It was
Mm,
one of those where it didn't take a whole lot of priming and pumping and setting things up
yeah.
before women would just jump in. So that was such a good virtual sister circle.
Hmm.
We usually can easily generate that type of energy in person, and it's just magical when it happens so quickly online. So it was great.
Yeah.
So that was my first takeaway. Like this was a lot of energy, good energy going back and forth.
Uh-huh.
Um, for me, in hearing, like you said, the different generations and decades talking about the levels, like we literally had 20 somethings in college talking about relationships and 60 somethings
Yeah.
talking about relationships. And it just kept circling back to who we are and how we
Mhm.
show up in relationships. And I
Yeah.
think I was more surprised by that because in typical conversations or stereotypical conversations about relationships, you would probably expect women to be pointing the finger all the time at
Mm.
the person they're in relationship with, right?
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
don't do this and they don't do that and I need them to do this and that's kind of what you hear out here,
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
it's social media or wherever. And we either that is not a great representation of the majority of us,
Mhm.
or we had an amazing group of women on. Both can be true, I guess,
Right.
because we were very self-aware.
Mm.
And I
Mm.
don't know if you want me to go there yet, because some of the reasonings people gave about why relationships are hard were just so insightful. But
Yeah.
overall, I just felt like we were very self-focused and self-aware, much
Mhm.
more than I expected us to be.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, because it just made me think about relationships be hard and why is
Mhm.
and like you were alluding to, why are they hard? And recently there's been a lot of buzz about this TikToker, Risa Tessa, I think, um,
Mhm.
who did this 50-part series. And because I'm just so curious about relationships, I watch all 50 parts on
Did
TikTok.
you, girl?
I did. I was so invested. She draw the way she tells the story, it really pulls you in. So
Wow.
the series was, who TF did I marry? Who the
Mhm.
F did I marry? Basically, and she's just talking about her experience of marrying someone who turned out to be a pathological liar.
Mhm.
And now we're finding out that he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia. So
Mm.
there were a lot of things that she didn't know and that she's learning about him now. But she was married to him about a year and a half, and it was during the pandemic. So she's just kind of breaking down the story. And even though she takes some accountability, like you said, a lot of it is things that he did. So
Mhm.
it was just an interesting story, and it really got me to thinking about uh, the part that I can relate to about relationships be hard. And it's something that she said during her sharing was, she was so focused on getting married
Mm.
because she was thinking, when is it going to be my turn?
Mm.
And she
Mm.
was like, you see all these other people on social media, they're getting married, they're having families, and they're living in these homes. And so she wanted to know, when will that happen for her?
Mm.
So her goal was to get married, and that caused her to ignore the red flags that were pretty obvious when you look at it from the outside looking in,
Mhm.
and that she can see now, but that she ignored. And it got me to thinking about my own story and how I was so focused at one point on getting married and ignored
Mhm.
the red flags. So it's just, that's just one perspective of how relationships be hard, because of our motives for getting into them can be I guess you can say disingenuous, or not founded in things that will help to sustain a relationship
Yeah.
and develop a healthy foundation. So just curious to know, what are your thoughts about reasons why relationships be hard?
Yeah, yeah. I love that one. I can that one resonates with me very strongly.
Yeah.
Having distorted motives, and
Yeah.
not really being in it for the long haul of the work involved in
Yeah.
relationships, but to have the experience, the fairy tale part of it, the
Yeah.
wedding and the all the things, and um, wanting the bells and the whistles without
Exactly.
the real work of it.
Yeah.
Um, for me, motive wise, um, a part of that as a church girl.
Uh-huh.
Listen to the other episodes. As a church girl, it was better to marry than to burn.
Right.
So motives related to I'm a Christian. I'm supposed to be married if I'm gonna have this sex that I'm
Yeah.
having.
Yep.
And so that's one layer of motive.
Yep.
But I think marriage relationships in general be hard because of one of the things that kept coming up in the sister circle that I so relate to is unrealistic expectations.
Mm, mm, mm.
So
Sure.
once you decide I'm going to be in this committed relationship or
Mhm.
I'm going to get married, that's, your motive got you there. Whatever your
Yep.
reasonings were got you there.
Yeah.
It's hard because once you're there, I have this perception of what it's going to be like and
Yes.
what this person is going to do for me and give me and be for me.
Mhm.
And they have on their side the same different level of expectations for me. And so
Right.
neither one of us are meeting each other's needs because we are focused on what the other person is supposed to be doing for us.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, and that list, I have, depending upon who you get poured into in
Yeah.
the area of relationships, you will
Mhm.
hear one end of the spectrum or the other. And
Yes.
so, one of the things that I've heard is make a list of everything you want in a mate. I
Mhm.
mean, write everything from the rooter to the tutor, what their hair looks like, how tall they're going to be, how much money you want them to make. And so at some point in my life, I've done that
Yep.
and have girlfriends who have done that. And so we're walking around with this list looking like, okay, you got this, no, you ain't got that. Got it,
Right.
the weirdest,
Woo.
it's the craziest thing. So
Yeah.
unrealistic expectations is another reason why I think it's hard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what that makes me think about? So, um, I've shared this before. I was married and now I'm divorced. Been divorced almost, I think it's been almost 10 years. And one of the
Mhm.
things when I went through separation, I started going to therapy, and so we had to do a lot of working on processing through that in my relationship journey and stuff like that, and my relationship with myself. And one of the things that we had to do in therapy was processing and dismantling this fantasy that I had around relationships. It was
Child.
imagery that I had wherein my therapist asked me to share, like, when you think of relationships, what is the person doing? Like, what is his role in the relationship? Who are they? And then what is your role in the
Mhm.
relationship?
Mhm.
And what was interesting about that, when we did this exercise, I noticed that the man was the rescuer, he was the protector, he was the provider, he was the one who was, strong and just doing all the things. And I was the one, which I had never really thought about till he asked me that question. Like, I'm just this damsel in distress that needs to be rescued. And it's like, wow, I had this description, this big description about all the things that he was being in the relationship. But I hadn't thought about what my role was, because you're just supposed to come in and provide all the things to me. I
Can I
don't have
can I
that role.
can I interject right there? Let me tell you something. So I am this overachiever. I
Yeah.
am this really superwoman and trying to do so many things in so many areas. And I've been that way ever since I can remember. In high school, I wanted to, honors classes. I wanted to do my best. In
Mhm.
college, I was striving to do my best. And so it is blowing my mind today
Uh-huh.
that when my husband and I started talking, because we met and married in 90 days.
Mhm.
And neither one of us advises that of anybody. but but so in our very short courtship and having these conversations, I remember saying to him on the phone with my superwoman self over here,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm just looking forward to coming home and cooking dinner
Yeah.
and doing all the things that, you need me to do, and keeping a clean house, just saying all of this, like, this ain't never ever been me. Like, not I never even paid attention to my mama when she was
Yeah,
cooking. I ate
yeah,
what she cooked, but I wasn't
right.
paying attention. I was too
Uh-huh.
busy off singing somewhere or
Yeah,
speaking somewhere to be paying attention. And I fell into
yep,
the trappings of the expectations because I
yep,
thought that's what he would want to hear.
right, right.
And he, said all the things. I'm gonna take care of you, baby. And I'm gonna, we fell right into it.
Right into it.
And then we got married and we are like, who are you? And I'm
Right.
like, who are you? Nice to meet you. Because this is
Yeah.
not who I was dating.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's
So I
crazy.
I think that coming into it with the fantasy mindset can create, like you said, these expectations that are not founded in one who we really are and
Yep.
not really conducive for a healthy relationship, how we
Mhm.
desire it. Because I truly believe that it is up to the couple to define how they want their relationship to operate, not
Mhm.
what whoever said what about what should be happening. So yeah, I
Yep.
definitely think that's one of the things that can make marriage hard.
Mhm.
Um, I also, sister, want to explore as it relates to this topic the why.
Mhm.
Do we ever sit back? I know I didn't, and hindsight is 2020 because I do it now. But
Mhm.
do we ever really explore why we even want to be in a relationship in the first place? Like when I really think about it now, it's like, well, why did I when I wanted to be married, when I wanted to be in a relationship, why did I want to? And it was
Mhm.
more so for external reasoning of thinking like I was involved in the church. So, like you said, I got to get married because I can't be out here having this sex and not married. So that was
Mhm.
one part of it. And then I wanted to have these kids because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have a family and you're supposed to have these kids and then raise your family together. And I wanted a man to love me and make me feel better about myself because I didn't feel good. And so that was his role to come in and do that. So that really, those were the reasons when I really think about it. And I'm like, it ain't had nothing to do
Mhm.
with, wanting to serve or give or, develop a partnership. It wasn't really about that. So that
Mhm.
can make relationships hard because my why is a little superficial, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. The word that always comes up for me now, I think it's our first time saying it. You just said it in this conversation for the first time, is partnership.
Yeah.
So I see relationships as a partnership now. Like there is
Mm,
something that we are both to contribute.
yeah.
And there is something, but it may not be the stereotypical contribution that we've been
Yeah.
taught and told, right?
Yeah.
Um, and in a partnership, so here's the problem.
Okay.
I've been taught that we become one.
Uh-huh.
So the two become one.
Uh-huh.
So many of us, especially in church circles, articulate that to mean there is no longer a me, there is
Right.
only a we.
Right.
And that is problematic,
Yeah.
especially for women, because we have talked to so many women in Real Women who have no clue who they are
Yep.
outside of their relationship, their marriage, and their children,
Yep.
and trying to tease out who they are because they have lost themselves in
Yeah.
those relationships is the hardest thing. And by the time they want to wake up or we want to start living our lives, we wake up thinking, oh my God, how much time have I lost?
Yeah.
Not living my life. So what I think a relationship as a partnership does is it allows us to still be me and
Mhm.
to have a we inside of the relationship. But now we are working together and we are walking beside each other instead of trying to consume each other.
Yes. Come on and say the thing, sister. Yes.
It's
Come on.
really, it's so problematic
Mhm.
for men and women, I believe, but I'm going to say especially women because of the stereotypical role we've been sold, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
so because of that, there's a lot of opposition now, from not just men but some women. There, all these podcasts are out here talking about,
Right.
how a woman is just too independent. A woman is just her, her head is, her headspace is all about her, and she
Yeah.
needs to submit, and she needs to, to just come under the authority of a man and all that kind of stuff. And I get where all of that comes from. Trust me, I came from all of
Right.
that. I
Mhm.
understand.
Yep.
What I am saying is, how has that been working for you?
That part. Yeah.
How has that been working? And
Yeah.
even though they didn't say anything, yes, grandmama and granddaddy were married for 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
But if they were honest with you, what was the quality of that relationship?
Right.
And did they have to find themselves again in order to be healthier, to make it the last half of their marriage?
Right.
And so it's just a whole lot of unsaids that we don't talk about related
Mhm.
to relationships that, inform why we get married and why we have the need to be in relationships anyway. And I
Yeah.
just want to say one more thing to go back
Mhm.
to your question. Um, I I wanted to be married and in relationship because of what I saw. Every fairy
Mhm.
tale,
Mm.
every love story, every TV show, every movie that showed me a happily ever after, I
Yeah.
pointed to it and said, I want that. I
Yeah.
want those feelings. I want that kind of relationship where someone takes care of me and says all of those loving things to me and all of
Mhm.
that stuff. I want that. And so there's a need for more realistic pictures of relationships to be put in
Mhm.
front of us. And
Yeah.
there's a need for us to be more honest with our young people, which is
Mhm.
why we had this Relationships Be Hard sister circle and
Yes.
invited the young women into this conversation. Because how dare we act like it's picture perfect when we
Mhm.
know we are insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And so,
Exactly.
how do we expect these young women and men to have healthier relationships if we're going to fake the funk just like our parents or grandparents did?
Exactly. And I love that you say the realistic viewpoint of it, because I'm thinking someone may be watching this and thinking, well, what's so wrong with me wanting a fantasy, or what's so wrong with me wanting to get in a relationship to feel good and all these things and to have my person? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think what we're offering, and we're talking about relationships be hard, but if we had to think about a solution of how, how you can, because we're not against relationships. I'm not against relationships. And we're
Mhm,
just talking about the reality of relationships. But if we had to talk about how to navigate through relationships be hard, I think what we're saying is to understand that it's just not all about feeling good all of the time, and that person coming in to make you feel good about, or create this rosy fairy tale type scenario. Yes, there will be moments where you feel like you're in bliss,
mhm,
and you're going to feel like, it's amazing and this euphoric feeling. And there will be moments where they get on your everlasting nerves and you want to
mhm,
call them everything that comes to your mind. So
mhm,
relationships are this and that. And looking at it from a deeper level, understanding that you have two individuals coming together from different backgrounds who are trying to get on one accord and live on one accord on a consistent basis, that in and of itself can present challenges. And so
mhm,
it's just understanding that it's important for you to understand who you are, one, and that's an ever growing thing, and then also understand why you want to be in a relationship and just kind of challenge that a little bit, and understand that your role is not just to sit back and look pretty, but you also, this person has needs as well that they desire to be met. So it's just understand there's a give and take, there's some sacrifice and service associated with it. And it can be beautiful. Like
Mhm.
relationships, I believe, even though I'm choosing not to be in one, I think relationships are beautiful. And when you find a person that, is compatible with you in a way that you feel, aligns with you, then go off into the sunset, honey. It can be an amazing, amazing thing. And so, yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
would.
Yeah, so the definitely. My husband and I both use similar language when it comes to it now.
Mhm.
Um, that it is the most beautiful, ugly, easiest, hardest, l-
Right.
loveliest, worst thing. because when it's good, and when it's not,
Yeah.
it's this is the person who can love you possibly the most, and this is the
Yeah.
person who can hurt you possibly the most, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you let your guards down, you're vulnerable with this person, and they see
Yeah.
you good, bad, and ugly, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So I believe that relationships in general are needed. We are not to be an island.
Yep.
And we didn't say this before I give one of my solves. One of the reasons that I think is valid is whether it's children, or if you don't have children, relationships or family members, even most
Mhm.
of us just don't want to die, grow old, and not have anyone there with
Mhm.
us that we can
Yes.
say we've done life with.
Right. Mhm.
And so to have history with somebody, to have
Yeah.
experiences with somebody, all of that is
Mhm.
beautiful.
Absolutely. Yep.
So I liken it to when we're talking about the work of it, and what I'm hoping comes out of these conversations. It's really, I think about it like a job, right?
Yeah.
The most frustrating thing to come onto a job is to have read the job description, have
Mhm.
gone into the interview and asked the questions, what is it like to work here? And
Mhm.
what does the job really entail? And
Mhm.
then you get into the job and it's totally different than, I mean,
Mhm.
they gave you all of these it's a beautiful place to work, and the people are amazing, and the
Mhm.
work is easy, and you have all this vacation time, and you get in it and it's totally the opposite of what they said. It's like
Mhm.
nothing you expected. How
Yeah.
frustrating is that, to go into
Mhm.
a commitment with one understanding, and to see it and experience it, and it's actually something else. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the reality of the job. Let's talk about
Yes.
what it actually means to work
Yeah.
here, so that
Uh-huh.
at least I know what I'm getting into when I take this job. And
Yeah.
these are the benefits, these are the rewards, but this is the work, and this is what you're going to have to put in. And
Mhm.
these are the people who are knuckleheads and that aren't going to
Yeah.
turn stuff in on time.
Yeah.
Just being realistic about it makes me come in with a more level head, and honestly, a greater sense of commitment, because I know what
Yes.
I'm getting into. So
Absolutely.
that's all that's why I think it's better to have these conversations about the
Mhm.
realistic nature of relationships than to just um couch it under, relationships are beautiful, relationships are awesome,
Yeah.
and make it unrealistic.
Right, right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll say this one last thing before we move on. What you just said is the reason why I have chosen not to be in a
Mhm.
relationship.
Mhm.
Because coming from a person who had all these fantasies about relationships and then getting into a series of relationships and then realizing that I don't really want to work there because I don't really want to
Mhm.
do the work that's required to do that. So instead of continue to go on these people's job and just, sitting back and getting my paycheck, I just want to not. I want to be unemployed for a little while.
I wanna be an entrepreneur, a solo
A
entrepreneur.
solo entrepreneur. So I love that analogy because that resonates with me. It's like I understand how important relationships are, how impactful they can be, and how
Mhm.
fragile, our hearts are. That is
Mhm.
not something to be entered into lightly. And I don't
Mm-mm.
take it for granted,
Mhm.
where I am now and the experiences that I have. And I don't want to play around with anybody's heart like that, or even my own. So I love that you gave that example because yeah, that is
Yeah.
real stuff. And I think that's something that we really need to ask ourselves, like, and when I'm ready to work there, it's like, okay,
Mhm.
well, let me look at the description again. What you say I gotta do? You know? So
And
yeah.
so to keep that for a second, the
Uh-huh.
more you go on those interviews and the more you work at those jobs, by the time you're ready for the next interview, you know the right questions to ask.
Absolutely.
Now I need to ask you all about what time do y'all really leave here at night?
Exactly.
Does your boss call you on the weekends?
Right.
Like
'Cause
I
I
know
got
the
the
real
experience. Yeah.
I know the real
Uh-huh.
questions to ask now because I've been there and done
Uh-huh.
that, and I don't wanna do that no
Exactly.
more.
Right. And I know what kind of employee I am, and that's not gonna work for me because I need my
Right.
weekends. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. So y'all take that
Mhm.
analogy and use it, apply it to your life and see how it work out
Mhm.
for you. Love it.
Love it.
All right. So let us go into our next segment, put myself in her shoes.
I love this one.
Yes, we have a scenario today about Sheila and Bobby.
All right.
So Sheila and Bobby just started dating and things seem to be going really well.
Okay.
Every time Sheila sees Bobby, she's always wearing makeup and a wig. And she got
Okay, girl.
that face beat and she got that hair laid.
Okay.
As things progress, Sheila is concerned though about when they finally do spend the night together because he has to see her without her makeup and without her wig on.
Mhm.
And she's a little self-conscious, honestly, about that because of her skin. It doesn't look as clean or as clear as she would like it to be. And her hair, it's a different braid of hair. And so she's worried about how Bobby will react when he sees her in her natural state.
Mhm.
So, sister, putting yourself in Sheila's shoes, how would you handle this situation?
Child. Oh, Sheila. Um, okay. So I'm putting myself in her shoes,
Yeah.
and I have gone through bouts of being very self-conscious,
Uh-huh.
levels of low self-esteem. And I
Yeah.
don't know if anybody can relate to this. Please share it when you go to speak pipe if you can, because it sounds like the weirdest thing, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I know I'm the bomb. I know I'm amazing. And at
Uh-huh.
the very same time, I can feel very self-conscious about myself and have low self-esteem about certain things.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I know, but I don't like know, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
so I get it. I get how she's probably feeling because on some level I felt that way.
Yeah.
I personally can't relate to the wig thing because I have never worn a wig.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking about me. I haven't done it. But because I'm self-conscious, I have thought about things like when I take my clothes off, you really gonna see the rolls and and
Yeah.
like you're gonna see
Uh-huh.
all of the stuff. Um, so I would want to have in one of these dating conversations, I would just want to have a conversation about what do you think about natural hair? Like
Yeah.
do you have a um not even a fetish, do you have a preference as it relates to your woman's hair? I'll get my husband loves my hair straight like this. He's cool
Mhm.
with it curly, but he loves it straight like this. I like it
Mhm.
both ways, so he's going to experience it both ways. But I
Yeah.
know that he likes my hair straight. What
Uh-huh.
what is your preference, sir? When you think about a woman, I think maybe that's important for me, if I were with Bobby, to ask him, because then it would open the door for me to say, well, my hair is, I wear these, this one is Tina. And I also have, I got Julia over there, and just see what his reaction is before we get into that real setting. So
Mhm.
he might be like, girl, I love natural hair and you could take that off right now and it would be fine with me. You may
Yeah.
find out something totally different and it would put my mind at ease. Um, the skin issues I have definitely had.
Mhm.
I had adult acne from stress, that onset major, like just major acne for a few years.
Mm.
Um, and so I wore makeup, and I guess my thought about that would be I would have the same thing. I would have the conversation beforehand,
Mhm.
just to see what their comfort level was. Because I mean, they also might say, "Well, when you get a chance, let me see. Just let me see what you look like." Because if I
Yeah.
don't ever see the real you, I can't be honest. So before we get to that overnight stage, I would want to have the conversation and maybe have an opportunity for him to see me.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I think my answer is similar. So putting myself in her shoes, knowing that there are some things that I have insecurities about, it would be important to me to know that the person that I'm with understands those insecurities and makes me feel accepted, I would
Mhm,
say. So
mhm,
knowing that, me being secure within myself is an inside job,
mhm,
and knowing that there are times when I'm just not going to feel secure. Like I'm not going to feel confident and just like I'm an amazing person all the time. So I would need that person to know how to be affirming,
mhm.
and if I don't feel that, then we won't get to the next phase of seeing me, because that's such a vulnerable moment if I have those type of insecurities that I would need to, like you said, have a conversation. Let me see where his mindset is about these things. Because a lot of times men don't even like women to wear makeup. It's just like,
So true.
look, you don't need to do none of that for me. So
Yeah.
I would have to know that that's his attitude about it. And I would probably be honest with him and say, like, hey, I'm a little nervous about you seeing me in my natural state. So I'm just curious, to see what your thoughts are about that. Or I would have to tip my toe in the water to see what his response would be, to see if this is a safe emotional space for me,
Mhm,
with
mhm,
this type of person. So I think it would definitely, like you said, start with a conversation for sure.
mhm.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've done now for years,
Mhm.
and it helped me get over my angst about putting myself out there,
Uh-huh.
when at the height of the use of social media for free advertisement,
Uh-huh.
it's a no-brainer now, but there was a point when it was like, I get to reach this many people and
Mhm.
it's free of charge. And I was excited about doing it because of all of my passions and pursuits,
Mhm.
but I didn't want I wanted everything to be picture perfect when I got on the screen, and I
Yeah.
needed to record myself over and over again until what I said was perfect and all of that.
Yeah.
And to help me get over that, I just started turn and record on when I wake up in the morning, or
Yeah.
when I'm out exercising, or when I'm just finished exercising and I'm not a piece of makeup, not a hair piece done, not a piece of my
Mhm.
hair done, because it's important for me to not put those impositions on myself.
Yeah.
And you are either going to accept me the way that I am or not. And that is
Yep.
totally up to you. But I am not going to a makeup drawer every time I'm ready to do something for Real Women
Mhm.
or for Leading with Soul or any
Right.
of my business pursuits. I'm not doing it. So that's bringing me to the table, putting myself in her shoes. I'm really
Mhm.
going to have to help you understand all of who I am underneath, me, my getting dressed date night style, and make
Mhm.
sure, either you're cool with it or let me know you're not, so that, like you said, I don't waste my time. And
Mhm.
yeah, so mhm,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
Because Sheila, you don't have to be intimate with him if you don't feel like that's a natural next step for you. If you haven't gauged that person will offer, the emotional safety that you need, then
Yeah.
no, you
Find
gotta do
out
that.
first, child. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. Love
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
So, if you have a scenario or if you have comments that you would want us to put ourselves in your shoes, once again, reach out to us and leave us a message at speakpipe.com/real women talk, real women, real talk, speakpipe.com/real women, real talk, and leave us a message and give us a scenario of something that you would want us to read on the podcast, and you could be featured on one of our episodes.
Mhm.
All
Yeah.
right. This has been such an amazing
It
episode. I
was
knew it was
fun.
going to
I missed
be.
you, sister.
Oh, definitely missed you. And so we are diving into our last segment, which is our spiritual nugget, and just something that we leave a spiritual nugget to inspire, encourage, and uplift you as you continue on about your day. So, sister, what stood out to you or spoke to you in this meeting today?
Hmm. Um, the two words that came to mind are sincere motives.
Okay.
Sincere motives. In thinking about all that we discussed, I just want to be able to be myself, right?
Yeah.
In any scenario, it's an exhale. It is a big exhale when we allow ourselves to be ourselves. We give ourselves a gift. As
Mhm.
excited as we make some people when we give them a gift, we give ourselves this beautiful gift when we allow ourselves to be all of who we are. And so I'm going to be the loud person that speaks to you in the hallway. I'm going
Yeah.
to pick the right time. And if you're not looking at me when I think it's the right time, I'm going to say hello. And hopefully make you smile in the process. Because even if that's not you, I'm doing it to be friendly, not attitudinal. That's me.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
If in relationships, my I want our go-to to be safety and security, to feel safe in the spaces that we're in. And I don't know if we can do that if we're not fully being who we are. And so figuring that out for ourselves to bring ourselves to a relationship makes it a tad bit easier when relationships are already hard. And just the idea that if someone is really interested in knowing me or being in relationship with me,
Mhm.
or everything from being in a conversation with me to being in my bed, then you got to be okay with who I am.
Mhm.
So, sincere motives. Are you here for the right reasons in my life? And am I sincerely showing up in relationships fully as me?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love
Mhm,
that. You know
mhm,
what else comes to mind as we close this out?
mhm,
It's something that I read and I saw it on a Real Women page is the longest relationship that we have is the one with
mhm,
ourselves. So
mhm,
make it a good one.
mhm.
Like we talk about relationships be hard, but honey, this relationship with ourselves, if this one is hard, then it's gonna be a reflection of all the other relationships. So start there and journey there. Continue there. Even when you're in a relationship, let that be a priority also.
Mhm,
Not just these relationships with other people, but this one is the
mhm.
most important one because it is a reflection of your other relationships. So
That's so good. And what's
mhm.
beautiful about that is that really is the place we landed. in the sister circle. It was
Yeah.
such a conversation. It's like almost in this one starting where ending where we started, because you
Yeah.
asked me about my reflections on it. And that's exactly how we landed in that sister circle, that we get to work on us. We get to work on ourselves before we expect any external relationships to be perfect. So that's good.
Yeah. And so if you're looking for a place to work on yourselves, Real Women Rock is the place. Honey, let me tell you how they have taught me so much about myself
Mhm.
just by attending the sister circle and really gleaning from other women. And then
Mhm.
something unlocks within me and I start to share and then healing happens and
Mhm.
it's just amazing. Reciprocity happens in there also. And so it's just an amazing experience that you just gotta see for yourself. So visit us at realwomenrock.org. Like I said, we have virtual circles, we have in-person circles, and we would love to see your beautiful face at one of our circles. So yeah.
Mhm.
So
This was
this
good.
it hasn't it been great? Oh my God, I missed this.
Mhm.
So this has been another amazing episode, y'all, of Real Women, Real Talk. And we are truly real women.
And real women truly talk, child.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, y'all. This has been wonderful, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.